All right, hello class. This is what I've got right now, and maybe this is different, slightly different than what we left off with. But what I did is I took the direction out of the rest of the body, and I did give a direction to the head. Okay. And now what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to do something where the head stamps a direction. Kind of everywhere it goes. And then the rest of the body is going to pick up the direction that the head left. And so that's the thing with the snake object, right? Is when you ask it to turn left, you're not going to ask every single piece to turn left. You're just asking the head to change directions. And then when the rest of the body lands on that spot, it wants to also change the same direction the head did. There's other ways to do this. I think my son talked about doing this in a way where he kind of stored this array list of directions, and I don't know, maybe each piece in the snake would like pick up the next direction, or I don't know how they did it, but anywho's, I did set an initial direction for. We can take this out right now. Let's take this out right now. So that's me. This is me right here setting direction for the head. And that's all it has right now. Okay. So head set direction or body get direction. One of the two, I suppose. One of the two. So I'm going to do a couple things here just to make it easier to write the rest of the code. But I'm going to make a variable for the head. All right, so we can refer to it. And then I'm going to say row equals head. By the way, I did write a bunch of getters and setters for the tile class. So I went into tile, and I think I did Alt-Shift-S, generate getters and setters, and I'm sorry, Alt-Shift. Generate getters. Yeah, so they all have getters and setters already, anyways. But that kind of automatically did all this get row, set row, get column kind of thing. So, anyways, so I have getters and setters for all my fields now. So you may not have that, but if you want, you can go ahead and do that. Okay, so what was I doing here? I was talking about snake and setting the direction on the board. Okay, and this is where it gets important that the tiles have a row column attribute, so they kind of understand where they're at in the board array. And so what I'm going to say is I want board set direction. I want to set direction of that tile, right, to be the direction I get from the head, right? How do you like that? How do you like that? How do you like them apples? Okay, so that's a cool thing. I like it. Do I need anything else? I don't know. I don't know if anything else. Let's go to the game and let's think about where we want to call this. I might have left it in. I think I want to call this like sort of constantly. I don't want to put this in this count mod 30 thing. I want the head to constantly be setting a direction. Okay, so it might be setting the direction multiple times on the same tile, but that allows it to be responsive. So then if I push a button and change its direction, it'll stamp that immediately onto the tile. Okay, So the question is, like, I'm trying to have the head do this, but I don't really know if it's going to work or not. So, or if it's working as I sort of expect. So what I think I did is I put a print statement in here, and I just said, okay, tell me what the board row column dot get direction is. And just for sanity, maybe tell me where I'm at in the board. So row plus all right. So I want to see row, column, and a direction. This is board, not board. All right. Oh, no. Oh. Misspelling. All right. How about that? Let's run this. Aha. So, 2030 is being stamped with the direction 2, right? So here's the thing. Even though my my head is moving to different tiles in different board row column locations, the internal field row column is not updating. So the way I did this is I went to the move method for tile, I think. Yeah, move, right? And I said to myself, okay, look, if we move to the right, what changes in terms of row column attribute, right? Well, if we move to the right, we're moving over one column, right? So column increases by 1. If we move up, what happens? Well, the row becomes actually 1 less. So row minus, right? You could say this dot if you wanted to as well. No difference between saying row and this dot. If I move to the left, what happens? My column becomes 1 less. And if I move down, what happens is the row becomes 1 more. So it's not like, I mean, you're supposed to kind of like keep one convention, so it looks consistent. But, I'm just letting you know. There's no real difference at this point. Okay, so that was actually a big idea. I felt like it was a big idea, and attaching row column attribute to the tile, and then using it made it a lot simpler because it's like I didn't have to iterate through the entire board and the entire snake every time looking for things to match up. I kind of just knew where I was and knew the location of the board that I wanted to affect, right? So let's see if that works. And now you actually are seeing a change in the column, right? You see a change in the column, and you are seeing that that board row column location is stamped with the direction 2, okay? So that's exciting news.
Eve Malawa, report to attendance. Eve Malawa, report to attendance.
Exciting. So, now we come back up here. We have some choices to make. I could arguably try to affect the direction of the head now by pushing buttons. So like if it's GDB5 or if game dot keys pressed, and inside there is key event dot vk underscore up or something like that, right? Then head dot set direction to I can't remember what I did. Let's go back here. So up is 1, down is 3. Okay, up is 1, down is 3. Right is 0, and left is 2. Okie dokie, so let's try this. First of all, I've got my snake moving over here. What happens if I move up? Now we see 1. Okay, so I've been talking for like 5 or 6 minutes here and just realized that it wasn't recording. So I got to go back here a little bit. I think I left you where we were able to control the direction of the head. And I'm actually going to stop printing this stuff out. I don't think we need any more. All good, all good. And we can see that the head was actually stamping stuff onto the board, okay? So then we have to write this method here where I'm going to pull, the body is going to pull the direction off the board, the tile that it lands on, right? So I just made a couple local variables, row and column, again, just to make it a little bit easier to follow. You don't really have to have it. You could just drop this expression right into that index location. However, it's already kind of got a lot of stuff going on, so I thought this would be a little more readable. I'm going to start my indexing at 1 because I don't want to set the direction of the head necessarily. I want to set the direction of the body, right? So 1 to body.size. And what we're going to do is we are going to get the row and the column of the location of the body, that we're dealing with. And then we're going to set the direction of that part of the body to be the direction we get from the row column location of the board. Now what I did last time, is because I didn't really have the two-dimensional array, I wasn't thinking of the index locations. What I did is I iterated through the entire board, which has 2,400 tiles, and I would be iterating through the entire snake, which could be however long, and I'd be checking to see if the XYs of the tile matched the XY of the snake, and if it did, then I would set the direction. So to me, this is a much cleaner, more efficient way to deal with setting direction, right? And the question would be, does the body know its own row location? And actually, it does, okay? Just like the head knows its own row location, the body knows its own row location because they're just tiles, and we're calling the same tile move method on the body as we are on the head. So if it moves right, its column attribute increases. If it moves up, its row attribute decreases, right? So the body's also going to be keeping track of its row column location, right? So then we have to call this method somewhere, and so I call this method body to get direction right before we move the snake. I mean, I think you could put it outside here, but I don't think there's any need for that. I think we really just need to set the direction before we make a decision to move, okay? So we could run this now, right? Run this now and see nothing. Okay, nada, no improvement, okay? But I think I understand why. And that is I didn't give the I didn't give the